Good evening. It is about 8 o'clock. I'm just waiting for my business partner, Dawn, to jump on here. We're going to be doing a Instagram live tonight with some exciting news about something that she and I have been working on for, I think it's officially 1 year as of now. So I'm excited to have her jump on. There she is. What is going on, Dawn? I think you need to add me or ask to be. There we go. View request. Dawn. So hopefully she will sign on. It's always that. There we go.
That awkward delay.
Well, it's like I always say this to people, but it's like that awkward delay. Also, like stand-up comedy where you're like talking and you don't know if you're gonna go for like 2 seconds or 20 seconds. I did one of these with Dom, who obviously you know, which is one of the reasons why we're doing this. But I did one with Dom like 3 weeks ago, and he tried it and I tried it, and it was like 3 minutes of just like awkward talking.
We're good at awkward talk.
Yes. So if anybody does not follow Dawn, then you need to follow Dawn, first of all. Secondly, if anybody does not follow our page, the Clear Planner, you definitely need to do that. But do you have one of your planners available?
I have a lot of planners available.
Yes. So as you can see, I only have one. Dawn has, I believe, multiple hundreds. If you have not seen Dawn's post for today, she had, I believe we had 15
boxes.
15 boxes. So I apologize. I only have one, so you can maybe see or not, but I'm actually in a hotel room right now. I'm doing some work with one of the college basketball teams that I'm working with. So Dawn has multiple hundreds of planners, but I have only one. Before you jumped on, do you know, I know we spoke about this briefly, but do you know when we actually had our first conversation about this?
It was the middle of December.
Nice. So
almost a year.
That is awesome. So Dawn will show you more, but I have mine. She has hers. But I guess maybe putting you on the spot for a second, what is the difference of our planner or this planner versus other planners or journals or those type of things that are out there for anybody that is looking to purchase one or two or 10 or 20?
Other than it being the best one? Yeah. So really this planner, Chris and I designed this planner to be our perfect planner. It had all of the features that we cared most about for our business, for our personal development. And then it got rid of all of the extra stuff. I've had planners that I've really liked, but then it was almost like it was a job to keep up with the planner. You know, it's awesome to do all of the week review, but so many planners had so many steps that I just wasn't doing them. And then I abandoned the planner. Or it would be close to what I wanted, but was missing some elements. What I love about this, it sets you up for success starting your day, but really starting the night before. You know, you sit down with what is your focus for the day. Always gratitude. We know that gratitude is so essential. We have a space to visualize our wins as athletes. I mean, that's how you are successful. You have to see yourself winning before you can. So it's that nice place to visualize. Of course, you know, what good planner doesn't have a checklist of things you have to do, a space to time block. And I love that we have a section for extra notes and then a little bit of journaling. That's one thing that as I was showing friends locally before these arrived, that was what they were most excited about, was that there was a spot for extra notes so they don't have to take multiple books with them places. So yeah, it's got it all. And then as I mentioned, we have that space to reflect at the end of the day, to go back and look at, okay, what did I do well? What were my wins? Some days you feel like you didn't get anything done, but when you go back and review, you really did. And then of course, some more gratitude. And then what can you do better the next day, or what didn't get done that you need to focus on so that you're already setting yourself up for a successful morning.
Yeah, I think you touched on a bunch of
everything.
Things. I'll touch on one thing. So when Dawn and I started, I guess, just speaking conceptually about the idea, to Dawn's point, I think one of our first Zooms, we probably had between us the most successful, like 10 or 12 planners that were out there. And I say that with some jest, but also because we've spent a lot of money, effort, time. And I think to your point about starting it and stopping it and finding certain things that you liked, I think obviously, we're biased in some ways because we designed this, but I think from the point of view where we've purchased, we've used, we've tweaked, we've changed. And I think for me, and I won't speak for you, but I think people try to have something that is for everybody and anything. And I think there's no planner or journal or notebook that is perfect for anybody and everybody, because you have, adults, students, you have people in sales, not in sales. But I think just touching on what you said is having the checklist, having the area for wins, for visualization, having reflection, having the journal perspective. I'll just show one area, but one thing I know, we have a schedule every day from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Actually goes to 10 p.m. because it's 9 and 9:30, and that's something that I know you and I kind of went back and forth on, but I think we wanted to kind of get everybody in. And what I realized, and I'm curious to get your perspective too, is whether you have a 9-to-5 job, whether you are a parent, whether you are a student, whether you are, somebody that's just starting a career or not, we all use calendars, we all use journals, we all use planners. And I think we tried to really incorporate everything so it would fit a wide audience, but again, not be, anybody and everybody, because some people like different things. But we really tried to make it be really widespread for people to be able to use it in different ways.
Yeah, well, and we really talked a lot about, we wanted something that somebody who's never utilized a productivity planner before, that they could pick it up and just use it. They didn't need to read this full explanation and do all of these things. They could pick it up, it makes sense, and they could use it. But that it also had enough for that person that's been using planners for years and who've been, business professionals for years are still going to benefit from this. I love that you mentioned that it starts at 5. I had another friend look at it the other day and she was like, I'm so glad you started at 5. Most planners don't start till 6, but a lot of the people that utilize planners are starting their day. They're starting their morning routine and getting things done early. And so that was really important. We wanted to make sure that fit.
And actually, to your point, there are a bunch of plans. I don't have them in front of me right now, obviously, because I'm on the road. But I know one of the things that I was actually talking with one of my clients specifically about planners and actually calendars, because he was going from paper to electronic and kind of on the fence. But 3 of the planners that we were talking, I had physically 2 of them. He had 1 of them. They started at 8 and 9 o'clock. So it's interesting where, there's no right or wrong reason,
right,
wrong answer. But to your point, I know some people start their day, as early as I do or as early as you do. So I think that's the interesting perspective. But want to touch on something that's really cool to me is, Dawn and I didn't create the word clear or planner. Both those words have been around for a while, but we use the acronym, and I love the 5 words. C is for consistency, L is for learning, E is for execution, A is for accountability, and R is for results. I'm not going to speak for you, but I believe my 2 words that I really wanted and I went to bat for were consistency, accountability, and I think your 2 initially were execution and results, because that's something that you do well in not only your personal life but also in your coaching business. But if I can just touch on one word, and I'd love to get your 2 cents on it, is for me it's the word consistency, the C word, because what I know for a fact is, being a former sports guy and being a coach now that works with a lot of individual sales teams, but also a lot of college sports teams, I have the mindset of you got to be perfect all the time. And what I've realized, and I struggled with, but now I see so much, is the most successful people that I look up to all talk about consistency. They don't talk about, being perfect every single day, every minute. And for me, I had to kind of go away from that and say, okay, how do I grasp this? But I love that word consistency. So throwing you under the bus for a second, what's your one of those next three words you got to pick out for you?
Well, execution was huge. Taking action and doing the things that you say you're going to do. It's one thing to write stuff down, and then it's another thing to follow through with them. And in the beginning of the planner, we start the 13 weeks with what are your goals, and then what are the steps to get to the goals. And so this helps lay out your plan to execute it. Now you still got to do it. Of course, consistency is always the biggest key, and we designed this with the idea of consistency in mind. We have these spaces blocked, right? Hold on, let me get to a page. So we talk about, I don't know if you can see, like gratitude here.
Yep.
This is something that Chris and I went back and forth, because Chris is like, all right, we'll do like, 1, 2, 3, or, 1 to 7. And I was like, no, dude, we're not putting in any numbers. And I think, and all the women that I talked to agreed, because the idea of just leaving it blank so you can put as much or as little as you want, without feeling like if I don't hit 7 things, I failed for the day. There are some days I have 3 pieces of gratitude. Other days I'm a grump and there's about 1. But because we left it as a blank space, you're still moving forward and you're still seeing something written. There's something mentally about leaving blank spaces that make you feel like you're failing even though you're not. And I think that was really important that we set that up that way.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see on here, but that's Dawn just referenced is the first box. So we have my one thing for the day. We have gratitude. We have the wins I plan to have. We have those 10 action items. And then on one page, there's the notes. And then on the right side, first of all, another thing to mention, we also have a quote of the day, which is cool. Dawn and I went back on that a few times. But then on the right side, there's a huge area for notes, and it can be literally anything and everything. It could be journaling, it could be list, it could be goals, it could be anything. And then at night, for the reflection perspective, is today's wins, what can I do better / improve, and then gratitude. And what you just said before a couple seconds ago was really important, because whether you list things out numerically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is fine, you can obviously put them in. To your point, when you say there's days when you have a bunch and there's days when you don't, I can honestly say that there are days when I'll actually write out a sentence or two. It's probably not grammatically correct, probably run on, but I'll write it out because that's what I'm feeling at that point. So for example, things I do with my kids, a lot of times I'll just kind of write, hey, last night was a special night, or it was really exciting for boom, 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 and I'll write it out. And it's what works for me. Mm-hmm. You said something that I'm glad you said, because I totally got excited about this, obviously, and glossed over it. But one of the things Dawn and I are super focused on, and it's interesting, when Dawn and I first met each other, we were both high school athletes. We played multiple sports, and we were very goal-driven. It wasn't about being perfect or being the best, but we had specific goals. I believe we both wanted to play college sports. That was kind of one of the things that drew us in our friendship and our relationship. But taking the step further is we have 4 goals that you identify. We also have some fun exercises. For example, we have an entire page about goals, breaking it down, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. I'm sure everybody's heard of those SMART goals. But then we have 20 top 20 goals, which is literally numerically 1 through 20. And what we recommend for people to do is just to think with a pen or a pencil and just write it down. And then you put together your 4 specific goals. And we did that for a couple of reasons. But one, I don't know any planners that list it that way with 20 and then 4. I know some planners use 2 or 3 goals. Some I've seen between 5 and 7. But it's the really focusing on writing it down. And that to me was something that I think really stood out for our planner to the other planners out there.
Well, and the other piece with the goals that we put on our goal page, we have what is the goal, then we have why do you want the goal, and how's it going to make your life better? Because we've learned over and over, we've seen it in ourselves, in our clients, and through the data. If you don't have a strong why, you're not going to be compelled to stay consistent enough when things get hard. So it's really identifying why that matters. And then we have some check boxes where the actions, tasks, routines, and habits that you're going to do to reach that goal. One of my goals for this particular quarter was sell out of the planner. And then it was, I wrote down, why did this matter? And then what are the steps? Well, the first step was where we're at right now, actually getting them in our hands to get out there. And so that's just really fun to kind of lay that out as you go and then check back and see where you're at with your goals throughout that quarter.
Yeah. And I think that is so important, the value of writing it out. And, we're both very tech savvy, but we also are very old school with taking a pen or a marker or a pencil. But one of the things that I wanted to touch on too, which for me, if you put a gun to my head and said, what is my second word after consistency, it's 100% going to be accountability. You actually have one of the accountability bracelets on as I do, as well, and hashtag accountability. But we have one section in there, taking your goals. And again, the big thing for Dawn and I, and not to speak for you, but I think for both of us, is we wanted this to be a planner that people at the end of the 13 weeks, they felt A, that they accomplished something, B, that it was working, and C, they were pushing themselves outside of their comfort zone. And one of the areas that we, again, my second word on that, accountability, is we have a very small piece about why accountability matters now more than ever. We have statistics about the probability of completing a goal. And just to read one of them is, if you have a specific accountability appointment with a person you've committed to, you have up to a 95% chance of accomplishing that goal. So right below that, we have two blank lines. And the first one says, I will share my goals with, and who I will share it with, and then check in with them when and how often. So it's taking it to another step. So it's not just me buying a planner and thinking about it and kind of going through it. It's me doing it. And I can speak for Dawn, I believe, on this, is if you go through this planner, especially the first 10 pages, and you spend, I would say, about an hour really sitting down by yourself, and you fill out those sections, now you know who you're checking in with, how often you're checking in with, but more importantly, they know your goals. Accountability is a two-way street. So I would challenge anybody that if you're maybe on the fence with getting this planner or getting an accountability partner, I would challenge you, and I think Dawn would as well, is that you're going to be able to accomplish your goals, not because this is a magical planner, but it lays it down into the consistency. It lays it down 2 pages per day, 13 weeks at a time, and really focusing on those 4 goals, but also that accountability perspective where I'm saying to Dawn, look, these are my goals, and I'd love to check in with you once every Tuesday, and let's hold each other accountable.
Yeah, and one of the pieces that we really put in there that was important to us, we wanted some sort of review at the end of each week. Now, I've had planners that are 2, 3, 4 pages. What did you do? What did you not do? I mean, and it was like homework to get it done. What we did was, on our Sunday, we took away some of the note space, because the majority of the time we're not doing work on Sundays. So we took away some of the note space, and we added a couple different boxes. So we have our wins. We always want to focus on our wins first. What did we do well? How can we celebrate that week? Then we have losses. And I love that we use the word losses. There's still opportunities. There are still places for growth, but sometimes we lose. It's okay to have a loss. And I think that this world is they missed the mark on that. Then we talk about what struggles did we have, and then breakthroughs. Then we go back to, okay, what kind of aha moment did we have through that? What came of it? And then highlighting the goals for the next week. So when I sit down on Sunday, I look back to the week before, and I'm like, okay, I did that. That was a win. I hit that goal for that week, or hit that target. And so there is still that way to review and look ahead, but in a quick snapshot, not this where I feel like, oh my gosh, I didn't review my week, now I'm done for. It helps you to stay consistent and be clear in what you're doing.
Yeah, and I love that you just touched on that Sunday week wrap up, and I think people that know me and know Dawn, I think they know that we're pretty good at researching and doing the work, and I can say that I know the gentleman, Todd Durkin, who was on my podcast. He's really awesome guy. But in his book, he talks about weekly review and Sunday, and he really got me thinking about it. I actually tweaked and stole and copied some of his things. And then my personal coach and mentor, a gentleman by the name of Brian Kane. Over the last many months, he's really gotten me to open my eyes more so with the idea of reflection. So I think for us, it was important to have that Sunday, and to your point, not a homework assignment where you have, to do, but it could be literally one win, one loss. It could be 4 struggles. It could be, no breakthroughs that week. And then you could have only 2 goals for the next week, but it's the consistency of sitting down and I know for a fact some people do their review in the morning for the week. Some people do it Sunday night. I have a friend, he actually does all of his review and things the morning after. So for example, he'll do the morning, he'll reflect on the prior day, and it works for him. I can't do that. I've tried it, but that's what is so important about this. And you had mentioned, starting and ending your day. And I think the term I've used a lot is bookending your day. And one of the questions I ask in my podcast, and we're almost 400 episodes in, is, do you have a morning routine that you swear by? And I can honestly say that I think I've gotten in the last almost 3 years now a PhD in morning routines. But I kid you not, over the last year, so many people have just completely opened my eyes that your morning routine and your morning actually starts the night before. And I totally thought about it the other way, where it's like, all right, it's 4 a.m. and I'm starting my day and doing this. But then when I look back and say, okay, the nights I go to bed at 11:30 and I don't get a good night's sleep, I feel tired, I feel groggy, I'm rushed, as opposed to the nights I go to bed at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, but I've laid my morning or day out. You wake up better, you wake up in a better routine, you're not rushed, you feel focused. And I think that's what we tried to replicate with this planner.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
So for those people, we are hoping to sell out of this initial order, and then we're going to make some, hopefully multiple more orders along the way. But for anybody that would like to find out more about it, I know we have a sign-up page, but we also have a couple free gifts. So if you wouldn't mind sharing that with anybody, that would be awesome.
The quickest and easiest way to find all things Clear Planner is theclearplanner.com. We made that super simple. Right on that page, you'll have an opportunity to just download a day. So you can print out a day and see what we're talking about, what that full day looks like. You don't even have to put your email in to get that. You can just download it. If you want, we also have a 7-day goal setting guide. So it's another opportunity to really dive deeper into just the exercise that we have here. That's a free gift to you for just going to the page, downloading that. And then, of course, we have our sales page is live. Right now, we are only open. Orders are only currently open in the U.S. I'm working to figure out shipping to Canada. If you are not in the U.S. and you are wanting a planner, you can email us. You should be able to email us right through that page, but it's success@theclearplanner.com. And just let us know where you are so we can kind of figure out shipping rates. But yeah, I've got the planners are in my possession. My goal is to have any order that comes through shipped out within 36 hours. I'm giving myself a little leeway in case it comes in at a funky time. But yeah, I'm excited. The other cool feature of this that I want to make sure that we highlight is there are 30 blank pages with lines. So we have 30 lined blank pages in the back of the planner, because I found when I did have a planner and I would go to a meeting, if I didn't bring another, notepad with me, I suddenly was like, where am I going to put any extra notes? This way it makes it super simple, super concise. You take this, you go, and that's all I need when I go to a meeting with somebody.
I have to say, Dawn and I get along on many fronts, and I think it's kind of really cool to do these because we literally exchange a bunch of texts. And anybody watching all the way to the end of this, I'm doing some coaching this week, so I'm not even where I usually am. Dawn got all the planners sent to her house. But the cool thing that I want to just touch on for a second is one of the things that Dawn and I were really specific of and very cognizant of was the fact that we didn't want this to be, first of all, a crazy expensive planner. We didn't want it to be cost prohibitive. We didn't want it to be too detailed, prohibited, where people are like, look, I can't spend, 45 minutes in the morning and, an hour at night. We want it to be specific to help people get to another level. And whether it's personal, professional, both, it's irrelevant. And then the last thing that you said really was important for us. And I just want to touch on it for a second, because it really hits me the way you said it. Is we have a free download for the 2-day page. So if you want to print a couple out, if you want to print one out, if you want to print 5 out, to Dawn's point, we didn't charge for that. And we purposely didn't want someone to have to sign up and email and all this stuff, because we wanted people to look at it first. And I can say, as we said before, I've purchased, no joke, well over 10 planners in my life. And to your point earlier on is we've taken pieces that I like, didn't like this. And so it's free download. Anything is available at theclearplanner.com. You can reach out to myself. You can reach out to Dawn. If you have a specific question about bulk orders or those type of things, we want this to be successful for everybody. And we want, at the end of the 13 weeks, if you reverse engineer and look back, we want you to consistently say, this was the planner for me. It made sense. It wasn't simple where it took, 13 seconds to do, but it also wasn't too crazy where I had to commit to it. But you know what? I've accomplished, or I've gotten way further down the road with 2 or 3 or all 4 of these goals. But then the other thing is we have a couple of free giveaways where I think the focus of writing goals down and taking some time to put them on paper was really important for us. So theclearplanner.com, like I said, reach out to Dawn, reach out to myself. If you have bulk orders, if anybody is outside of the U.S., we will work with you on shipping. We just need to figure out what it is for your specific country. So I believe on the website we could have had like 50 different country codes and all those things. But instead of doing that, we just figured if there's somebody that wants it. And then to Dawn's point, we're really trying to get these out to you pretty quickly. So even if someone's local to myself or to Dawn, we have them obviously physically on hand, so we can take care of that as well. So is there anything that planner driven, the Clear Planner driven, or just planners in general that we didn't go over that maybe would entice or excite somebody to?
I think inside, if you go to the sales page, there are a couple pictures so you can kind of see what it looks like inside. That's the other thing. I hate when I buy a planner and I'm like, oh, there's all this junk in it that I didn't care about, or, oh, like that is not what I thought I was getting. So there's plenty of pictures in there. It lays flat. That was huge for us. I know that I've had people say, oh, I like spiral bound. And I'm like, why? That like snags and catches on things. So we wanted something that was nice. It was solid. You can, we're gym bag kind of people, right?
Yeah.
You want to be able to throw it in a gym bag. It travels. It carries well. It actually almost feels like a basketball.
So it's funny you say that, not to cut you off, but it's interesting. So some people like traditional pads. Some people like, as you said, with spiral. Some people like ones that don't fold open. This one ours fold completely flat. So if you're lying it down, you can have it lay flat. Obviously you can bring it with you, but it's not hard where like, it's super hard, but it's not soft at all. It's I don't even know what material you'd say. It does feel kind of.
I think it is a leather. I forget what it said on there. It's some sort of leather, but it's hard. It's just, it's a nice size. You can fit it really anywhere you go. That was the other thing that was really important to us. I hate when you get the planners that are just super large. I don't know. I kind of love it.
Yeah, kind
of obsessed.
I've known Dawn, not to date ourselves, but I've known Dawn since 1996, which is crazy. We met at 1 year old, so that shows how young we are. But one thing that I did want to touch on real quick that I think is important is Dawn and I are driven people, but I know for a fact at one point I think I was subscribed to, I want to say 5 different quotes of the day email list, and I still get 2, but something for us was what I know for a fact, and I try to do it on my Instagram, and I know Dawn does it directly and indirectly with a bunch of her stuff on social medias. Sometimes you're having a good day, a bad day, sometimes you're just feeling sluggish. So every single day, in addition to the one page that has the gratitude, the calendar from our schedule from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. On the right side of the second page, we have a quote on every single page on the top. And I'm just going to share one that literally just opened up to it is, if you're afraid to fail, then you're probably going to fail. And that's by Kobe Bryant. So I think for me, I'll leave, and then I'll leave it to you to sign off on here. But, you know, don't be afraid to not only get this planner, but don't be afraid to download the free page. You can print out, like I said, 1, 2, or 5, but also don't be afraid or don't be fearful of having never used one before, because that's one of the things that we didn't want to have any obstacle, barrier of entry, or someone says, look, I don't really do it, I don't have it. So really appreciate you jumping on, and I'm going to kick it off to you for any last words before everybody goes to theclearplanner.com.
2 last things. It is undated. I don't know if we mentioned that. It's undated, so you can get it. The only thing we tell you is start on a Monday, because the way we have the Sunday set up. So you can pick this up. You can start it before the new year. This isn't something that you can't get anytime. The other thing, we did make a PDF version available for a small purchase. So if you have a good note-taking app, or you have, you know, an iPad with a pencil and you prefer to try to utilize it that way, or you're just not sure you're ready to commit to a hard copy without really going through it all, that is also on the website for, I think it's $7 on the website if you want the full PDF to check out. I think that was really it.
Yeah, I'm really glad you said that. I just want to touch on that for a second. So that's the only rule, if we had a rule that Dawn and I were specific of, is starting on a Monday and then ending on a Sunday. So the reason being is, if you started on a Thursday or Friday, then you wouldn't have a full, you'd have 2 days for reflection. It would kind of, so we wanted to be specific to that. But to Dawn's first point is, it's not dated. So you bring up a fantastic point. So if somebody's saying, well, in a week or two, it's the last month of the year, do I have to start January 1st? And no, you don't. You can start next Monday. You can start, with 3 weeks left in the year. If I could say anything to anybody, I would say start now, meaning whenever you get one, start, whether it's this Monday or the next Monday, because you're going to be glad that you did. And I think we've tried to put the skills and the tools inside this planner, where it doesn't matter how successful you are, what level you're starting at. We believe that if you are consistent with it, you'll be more successful. Or if you haven't done anything like this, I think you'll be more successful because of the structure we've set in place. But that's an awesome point. And then to Dawn's last point you made about, if you do want to print out an entire week or 2 weeks, like Dawn said, we have a small fee for that. And the reason we did that was we wanted people that maybe weren't sure to say, I'm not really sure, but I'm willing to invest a small portion of it. And the hope is that at that point, they'll either make the decision that it works for them or it doesn't. But we really think we've done a good job trying to be truly proactive with putting together, I guess, the widest range of a planner that works for a bunch of people.
So before we sign off, what date did you start that planner on?
So I started this planner. Hold on one second.
Because mine, I just looked as you were talking. I started this one on October 25th. So talk about a random.
All right. So it's funny how similar we are, because I started this one 1 week after, which was Monday, November 1st. But here's
it's because of when we got our first planners that you started a week later.
So full transparency about trying to, and just, I think Dawn and I connect on a bunch of things. But so this is a older planner. So if you hold yours up for a second, Dawn.
Yeah, you can see his was.
So Dawn's is higher and moved over center. Mine's not centered, but this was also one where it wasn't lying as perfectly flat. So Dawn and I spent some time and money and effort getting the right mix of these things. So I'm actually restarting. So Dawn's going to ship me a couple out, because we could only ship them overseas to one address unless we wanted to have multiple ones, which would have been very difficult. So I'm actually going to be, if I get the new one from you, no pressure, before Monday, I'm going to be starting my new flat one on Monday. So
Before Monday?
just driving on up to Connecticut. But no, I appreciate you. Last thing I think would be cool to share with people is it's about a year, literally in a couple of weeks from now. It's going to be a year from the time Dawn and I had a first conversation where she had left me a voicemail. I texted back, and I believe not the next day, but I think 2, if not 3 days later, we set up our first Zoom call. And what I want to share with people, not from a bragging point of view, but from, if you have an idea, a concept, a business, a goal, go ahead and do it. It's not going to be successful overnight. I'm not going to speak for Dawn. I'm going to speak for myself. Anything that I've accomplished or anything I've been proud of has taken time. And this thing right here that I'm holding that Dawn has, I know you are because I've seen your post, but I'm super proud of this because it's something that we designed together, we put together, but we didn't do it overnight where it's like, okay, let's do this and it's done. We went multiple variations. We had different tweaks. We dropped the ball in the sense of making a couple of mistakes along the way. Certain things didn't line up, certain things changed. And I think there's nothing perfect out there, but I think we did a good job correcting. We fall down, we help each other up. I'd pick something up, you'd catch something. I'd be like, hey, did you see this? And you're like, oh no. And then like 2 days later, you'd be like, what about that? My point of that is long-winded is it's been a very difficult 21, 22 months. And I know a lot of people are struggling in different ways. So if I can say anything to entice anybody, not from a, selling and buy these planners, but more along the lines of get a planner, try a planner out, because we really, truly believe that this can help you be more successful in all area of your life, either business, personal. So that's my last point. I'm going to kick it to you to finish this off.
I got nothing else. I'm out.
All right. Thank you guys. Go to theclearplanner.com and you can buy 1, 2, 5, 10, or check out the free downloads and some of those free things we have. So appreciate you, Dawn. We will connect soon.
All right. Take care.
Bye.